Hey everybody, it's me, Joseph Rothschild. I'm here at YCS Columbus after playing a whole day of Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis, and I just want to let you know, do not play this deck. Do not under any circumstances play this deck. I thought it was a good call. This deck can't beat a deck with a Herald in it to save its goddamn life. Do not make the mistake I did. Do not play this deck. Now, enjoy a more optimistic Joseph from a couple of days ago when I recorded this. All right, bye-bye.
Good afternoon, Genesys gamers! I'm MBT, and this is 100-point playtesting. That's right, we've decided the algorithm just isn't for us. 2 Clown Crew uploads! Well, this deck was functionally made for Genesys, so let's chill with the crew in Yu-Gi-Oh's second format. Presenting Clown Crew.
Where are the clowns?
So here's the list, which is what I'm playing at the YCS today. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Looking for a place to find inspiration for Genesys decks? Well, look no further. I've already spent years telling you about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the best repository of deck lists, strategy articles, third-party assistance with alternate ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, and card collection management on the internet. But right now, it's also the best way to find Genesys lists. You can sort by deck type, filter high-level tournaments to see what's been working, and download decks you see in any format you desire. That's why I'm proud to be sponsored by www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's check out Clown Crew. Clown Crew is a tribute summoning archetype, and don't feel threatened, Monarch players. There's still plenty of room for both of you to lose to Mask of Restrict. This deck aims to use Malar Bisma or Soiree to set up a huge tribute summon of Bianca Viso, plussing you to infinity. In Genesys, you're unable to lean on the hand traps that pull you across the finish line in the TCG, and as a result must make do with Nibirus, Ogres, and Godos. Finally, since this deck is so much more bricky without the Nouvelle package, we're playing the Incantations here, which suck shit, but get the job done. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, 3 copies of the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode gives this deck some game going second, but also is not bad going first because Bianca Viso can summon it on your opponent's turn. 3 Godos, 2 Incantation Talismandra, a hard Garnet unfortunately, 3 Chalice Slime, 3 Flare, which can be ritual summoned with a Clown Crew card. You can reveal this card from your hand to add a Clown Crew card from your deck to your hand, except a ritual monster, then discard a card. And if this card is tributed, you can either shuffle all rituals back or put a monster on the field into face-down defense position it does not target. Get used to that effect where they shuffle all of their super type back into the deck. It is not only printed on all of the tributable monsters, it is also your win condition against mono-type decks. 3 Chaotic Elements, which searches Incantation Chalice Slime, pay close attention to its graveyard effect. 3 copies of Clown Crew Rehearsal, which allows you to tribute a monster from your hand or field to add a Bianca Viso and a Clown Crew spell or trap, except itself from your deck to your hand, and can be banished to perform a ritual summon by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed its level. After that, we've got 3 copies of Sinful Spoil Subdual, thanks to Dyer for putting me on this card. You take a level 5 or higher illusion monster from your deck and add it to your hand or special summon it, but if it's special summoned, its effects can't be activated during the main phase, and it has this weird graveyard effect that lets you dodge targeted, spot removal on your back row. The important part of this card is that Bianca Viso is an illusion, which means that your Sinful Spoil Soiree operations works in tandem with each other, right? The operations can grab 2 Clown Crew monsters from your deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. It doesn't have to use its other effect, which adds a Bianca Viso from deck to hand. That's great because it means that you have a little flexibility there, but this card can also get Godos for hands that need to interact with an opponent using that effect, or that need to protect your life points by summoning a guy who can't be destroyed by battle. Happens all the time. On 1 Clown Crew New Face, which during the standby phase can shuffle 3 Clown Crew cards from your graveyard or banishment into the deck, then draw a card. And if you tribute summon a monster, you can target other spell traps on the field up to the number of monsters tributed for its tribute summon, destroy them. If this card is sent to the graveyard except from the field, you can place it face up on your field, and those are all onces. We're playing 1 copy of Matinee Operatics, which allows you to special summon a Clown Crew from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, you are locked into the effects of monsters special from the deck or extra deck. During the end phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of different card types of monsters tributed this turn, and unfortunately, we only get to play 1 because it's 20. We're paying 10 apiece for Clown Crew Malarbisma, special summon 2 Clown Crew monsters from your deck or extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. You are locked. And then during your main phase, if this is in the graveyard, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, it can be banished, tribute a monster from your hand or field, and then bounce a card on the field. You've got 3 Nibiru, 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Bianca Viso, which can be tributed by tributing a Ritual Fusion, Synchro Xyz, Pendulum, or Link monster, and if tribute summoned, can either draw cards equal to the number of monsters tributed, or negate the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of monsters tributed, and can perform a normal summon on your opponent's turn. Finally, 2 Cosmic that we don't get to remove because Mask of Restrict is in this format. In the extra, we've got a Jaza you can make with the Godos, Trishula to free up zones, triple Clown Crew Diablo, which if on the field gives your tribute summon to monsters double piercing. If tributed, can either return all fusions or add a trap to your back row. Clown Crew Meteor, which prevents your opponent from responding to your tribute summons, returns all synchros into the extra deck, or adds a Clown Crew card from your graveyard back to your hand. 3 copies of Fiends, which gives your tribute summon to monsters 1,000 attack. This is usually how you push for lethal. Can either return all Xyz monsters or set a Clown Crew spell from your deck. And then Dark Armed, Big Eye, Titanic Moth, and Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon for burnouts. In the side, we've got the Wicked Avatar. We've got Diabel's the original Sin Keeper as a mechanism to lock out quick play decks, courtesy of Sinful Spoils Subdual. The Wicked Avatar is just an irritating-ass card, and unfortunately is very summonable in this deck, courtesy of Bianca Viso's effect. It's Cold Wave. 3 Lancia, 3 Illusion Gate, 3 Gravity Collapse, speaking of frustrating cards, and double Fualo. So with that, let's check out a match. Our match is up against Elf Note Assault Mode. I kind of like how in Genesys specifically, Assault Mode has become this catch-all for synchros. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Dual Evolution Assault Zone for the Crimson Blader. We'll go for Godos afterwards. They're going to go for a Psy Reflector, activate the effect in order to grab an Assault Beast, then activate the effect of the Assault Beast in order to grab an Assault Mode activate from their deck to their hand. From here, the Psy Reflector can bring back the Beast, but that's integral to their combo and does not play nicely into the Godos activation. We will use it to take the Beast, and unfortunately, as a kind of fragile combo deck, they're forced to just use the Crimson Blader Assault Mode, set a card, and pass. So here we should just be able to pop off. We will draw for turn. In case that's not the set Assault Mode, we will Cosmic Cyclone it, and then we'll go to the main phase. We're going to begin with a copy of Incantation Shadow Slime for Talismandra. Activate its effect to grab a Flare. From here, we can activate the effect of the Flare in order to add to hand, and then immediately discard a Clown Crew New Face, which when it goes to the graveyard will trigger its effect to set itself to our side of the field. We'll activate the effect of Rehearsal here in order to get this Talismandra off the field so we can unlock our extra, then Malarbisma into Bianca Viso, into the effects of our Diablo and our Fiends. We'll use the effect of the face to pop the Assault Zone. We'll set a Matinee Operatics and a Soiree Operations while drawing a couple of cards. Then afterwards, we'll go for the Matinee Operatics in order to summon out a Meteor. Our opponent will go for their own Meteor, here a Nibiru the Primal Being, but that will trigger the Meteor in Yard. Afterwards, we will just set to and activate the effect of Matinee Operatics to draw a bunch of cards and discard a Bianca Viso, taking 25 for the Incantation Chalice Slime. We'll go for New Face and Standby, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre, by the way, and our opponent will go for a Dual Evolution Assault Zone. Now, this deck isn't particularly repeatable, so I'm excited to see what goes on here, but it probably can't beat our normal setup. They'll grab a Psy Reflector, normal summon it, and grab an Assault Mode activate, after which they will, well, just realize they don't have anywhere to go. So it's time for game 2, and we are once again on the draw. We've drawn Godos for the second time in a row. Our opponent this time begins with a copy of Medius the Pure. That'll get an Elf Node Power Patron and enable a Synchro Summon of Excel Synchron, which will send from deck to graveyard a Jet Synchron. They'll grab a Tinia off the Power Patron, and unfortunately I have to both use the Godos and its on-field effect here to contest the Jet Synchron in graveyard. It feels like bait, but if they get to Zaylin, it's a big problem. They'll go for Dual Evolution Assault Zone here in order to grab the Beast, and then afterwards they're going to go for the Tinia. Tinia here is going to set a copy of Welcome Home. Welcome Home is going to grab a copy of Lucina, and of course after that Lucina can grab a Fortuna. After that, that Fortuna can come down and activate its effect. Fortuna is a pooper. You can see it in her art. To a Rhapsodia of Madness, cycling into a copy of Power Patron again. They'll go for Sterlitzia, activate the effect to bring back Power Patron, and down comes Nightwinged Cleric to set a copy of Assault Mode activate. Next, they will use the effect of the Nightwinged Cleric for a Psy Reflector, and the Psy Reflector effect for a Crimson Blader Assault Mode because we already have the Beast. Afterwards, we can activate the Dual Evolution Assault Zone in order to activate the Assault Mode activate for a Stardust Dragon Assault Mode and make a Zaylin anyway. Okay, frustrating. We'll draw for turn, just one too late, but having it's not so bad. We'll begin with a copy of Chaotic Elements. That'll grab us an Incantation Chalice Slime. Afterwards, we'll activate the effect for Talismandra, trying to fiend out a negate. We don't get it, so we do get to add the Flare to hand. We'll activate the Flare. That will fiend out the Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, which means maybe we can resolve something later. It's not going to be this copy of Rehearsal because Rhapsodia checks it. They'll bring back Sterlitzia. We'll go for Matinee Operatics and activate the effect of Sterlitzia into the effect of Zaylin. Very frustrating. We'll make a Jowza and activate its its effect to retain some hand advantage before we tribute it off for Bianca Viso, but we have to draw something crazy here, and that is crazy. We'll go Malar Bisma for a Diablo and a Meteor. Now we need our opponent to play into the Nibiru so that we can use Meteor in order to send everything back. Here, they're going to go for the effect of the Assault Zone. They'll chain the effect of Assault Mode activate for a Crimson Blade or Assault Mode, which means we got to go for this Bianca Viso right now. They will chain Rhapsodia and chain the Zaylin, and now we just need them to play into this card. Unfortunately, though it was the 6th card in our hand, and there is probably no reason to suspect it, they play safe, and we aren't able to drop the rock on them. All right, let's go to Game 3. So it's time for that all-important Game 3, and hey, any way to Flare does it. All right, we're going to begin with a copy of Clown Crew Flare. We will grab ourselves a copy of Rehearsal and pitch this Talismandra. Use the effect of the Rehearsal in order to grab Malar Bisma and Bianca Viso. Activate Malar Bisma for Fiends and Diablo and send them off for a Bianca Viso. We'll trigger the effect of everything in the yard here for a Matinee Operatics and a copy of Soiree Operations. And then after that, we'll draw a couple of cards. We'll go for Chaotic Elements here to thin just a little bit and to get Chaotic Elements into the graveyard before going Matinee Operatics for a Synchro. We will send it to the yard for our Clown Crew Flare. And then after that, we can cycle back this copy of Malar Bisma. We'll go Matinee Operatics here for 4, and then set this Clown Crew New Face. Our opponent will draw for turn and standby. We'll shuffle 3 back and draw another card, and unfortunately, it's just a little late. They'll go for a copy of Illusion Gate here. We'll go for Soiree, and then afterwards, we will perform the normal here. We'll set all of these cards. Finally, we will activate the effect 2 normal from Bianca Viso with 3 cards on field, courtesy of the Malar Bisma, for a Wicked Avatar. Shouldn't have, I guess, queued into this. Now, the game isn't yet over. They're going to go for a Power Patron into a Draco Berserker into a Tinia, and while Wicked Avatar prevents you from activating spell traps, it doesn't prevent you from setting them. So they can go Welcome Home here to cycle for a Fortuna. They can activate the Fortuna effect for a Rhapsodia. Then after that, they can Rhapsodia to negate the effect of our Wicked Avatar and put it at 0. We are kind of in danger of getting killed here, so we have to Nibiru before they get to Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. They do get to their Medius the Pure here afterwards. Banishing our Nibiru prevents the token from coming down, but doesn't prevent the tributing. They go Excel, send a Jet Synchron, and do get to end on Zaylin. Pretty impressive for no spell traps through Nibiru. That said, it is not going to be enough. At end step, we will draw a couple of cards. We'll set 1, and we'll draw for turn. From here, we'll be able to Cosmic Cyclone, their Rhapsody of Madness. They get back Sterlitzia to negate it, but we can go for Clown Crew New Face to draw a whole bunch of cards and contest those cards a little later in the turn. Anything here just wins the game, even the known quantities. They'll go Sterlitzia for Fortuna. We will Malar Bisma in order to shuffle back, then activate the effect of Meteor to shuffle all the Synchros back, at which point our opponent is just going to concede. So we're back with the deck, and floodgates, man. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, it's consistent. Thanks to unpointed chaotic elements, you've got 12 ways to rehearsal, more than enough to consistently find it. 2, it's all but impossible to play through. The setup being so layered means that it beats board wipes, targeted negation, the works. And 3, out of the board, you just don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! You ball. And the cons. 1, it's actually kind of weak to Skullmeister. This is a bad place to be, as it's one of the playable free hand traps, but Meistering either the Soiree or one of the 2 tributed monsters for the Bianca Viso summon can really get you into hot water. 2, it's very weak to Greenlight. Rehearsal is a big, glowing negate me button. And 3, sometimes you just die. It turns out a single guy and maybe some blockers doesn't always effectively insulate your life points. All in all, I expect this to be a top deck in the upcoming Genesys metagame, runic or not.